Known today in English as the Eagle's Nest, the Kelstein House is a chalet structure commissioned by Bormann in 1938 and presented to Hitler on his 50th birthday in April 1939.
What lies hidden under Hitler's Eagle's Nest, a place shrouded in both power and mystery, has astonished scientists and historians alike.
Well, this area right here is a place that few people get to see. This is the diesel engine room of the Eagle's Nest. This would have provided backup power for this facility.
Could this iconic symbol of Nazi dominance be hiding something more shocking, buried deep inside the Bavarian Alps? This remote mountaintop fortress wasn't just a gift for a birthday. It was a costly engineering marvel with tunnels, elevators, and hidden spaces whose stories remain untold. As explorers recently gained access, unexpected discoveries beneath the surface have stunned the world, revealing forgotten chapters of history and technology that challenge conventional narratives and spark new questions about the Third Reich's hidden operations. The Eagle's Nest's enigmatic foundation. Perched high atop the rugged Kelstein mountain in the Bavarian Alps, the Eagle's Nest is far more than a simple mountaintop retreat. Constructed over 13 months and completed in time for Hitler's 50th birthday, this structure wasn't merely a symbol of power, it was an engineering marvel shrouded in mystery. From the outside, it appears as a small stone pavilion jutting from the cliffside. But beneath this unassuming exterior lie hidden tunnels, access points, and subterranean features that hint at secrets yet to be fully uncovered. The building process itself defied the natural challenges posed by the steep terrain and harsh weather. Engineers carved into solid rock, constructing not just the lodge, but also a network of tunnels that provided covert access to the elevator system. The elevator, nestled inside the mountain, was unlike anything conventional. Designed to transport guests from the entrance parking area deep inside the mountain up to the summit with ease and speed. This subterranean complexity has fueled years of speculation about what else might have been concealed beneath. Visitors today encounter a narrow access tunnel spacious enough for vehicles, suggesting that even Hitler himself might have been driven directly inside before ascending. Along the tunnel walls and on the locking doors, faint inscriptions and graffiti left by wartime soldiers record the human history of those who came after the Third Reich's fall. Yet, these marks are only the surface of a far deeper, less understood story etched into the mountain's heart. What makes the Eagle's Nest especially intriguing is the contrast between its apparent simplicity and the sophisticated infrastructure buried underneath. The elevator itself, famously golden and ornate, once allowed seamless travel up the mountain, bypassing rigorous climbs and harsh conditions. Though currently restored as a tourist attraction, the elevator's original purpose and its hidden mechanics remain a point of fascination and mystery. It was long assumed that the Eagle's Nest was primarily a ceremonial or relaxation site for Hitler and his associates, but the presence of underground tunnels raises questions about hidden uses, perhaps for security or clandestine activities. The mountain's rocky shell offered natural protection and concealment, providing the Nazis with a fortress-like retreat away from prying eyes. Adding to the site's enigma are the architectural choices designed not merely for function, but to impress and intimidate. The combination of remote location, ornate interiors, and concealed infrastructure sends a message of untouchable authority. Yet, beneath that veneer, the tunnels whisper secrets that remain locked away, waiting for modern science and exploration to shed light. The Eagle's Nest's foundation and subterranean design invite a reconsideration of what this mountaintop hideaway truly represented. Could it have housed more than guests? Was it a hub for secret operations, or safeguarding vital assets. The clues below ground suggest something far beyond a birthday gift, setting the stage for astonishing revelations. As we begin to understand the structure's hidden depths, it's impossible not to wonder what other secrets remain tucked into the shadows of this iconic mountain perch. Beneath the political theater and grand symbolism lay a purpose deeply entwined with the Nazi regime's ambitions and strategy, historical significance and purpose. The Eagle's Nest was commissioned in the 1930s by Martin Bormann, Hitler's powerful secretary, as a state gift for Hitler's 50th birthday. More than a mere retreat, it was a potent symbol of Nazi power and domination, perched above the clouds in a remote mountain setting that embodied control over nature and man alike. Serving as a venue for diplomatic meetings and high-level gatherings, the lodge was designed to impress both allies and adversaries with an aura of invincibility. Its location was carefully chosen not just for natural beauty, but for strategic advantage. Rising above the surrounding Bavarian landscape, the Eagle's Nest offered sweeping views across valleys and borders, symbolizing Hitler's reach and oversight. The juxtaposition of majestic scenery with the dark purpose of the regime created a chilling ambiance, underscoring the ideological message of supremacy and dominance. Though the lodge itself was rarely occupied by Hitler, preferring other headquarters during the war, it functioned as a ceremonial site for celebrations, diplomatic meals, and social events. Its lavish interior, featuring marble fireplaces and polished wood paneling, projected wealth and power. The presence of guarded rooms and security quarters highlighted its role in protecting not only status, but also lives amid an escalating conflict. The Eagle's Nest, which went beyond mere showmanship, was regarded as a national pride and propaganda tool. It, in fact, represented the very essence of Nazi ideology, a super, modern, and indestructible one. The very landscape that the Eagle Nest dominated was reminiscent of the regime's hope for a new Europe and world, and thus the regime's political agenda was worked through both the architecture and the site. But the site was also a mirror of the duality of Nazi Germany, a place where luxury and recreation met war, destruction, and suffering. The duality of the Eagle's Nest thus bestowed it with a captivating quality that made it a symbol of the confrontation between power envisioned and power brutalized. With the war coming to an end, the Eagle's Nest had more meanings added to it. It was bombed in the Allied bombing campaigns and was later regarded as the one-time mountain hideout of the Third Reich that had fallen. Its occupation was interpreted not only as a military win, but also as the disintegration of the Nazi myths. The site's importance, both strategically and symbolically, turned the whole area around it into an army zone where military troops and supplies had to come up nearby to avoid the possibility of surprise attacks. The site and its immediate surroundings thus turned into a highly militarized zone of natural beauty, technological sophistication, and warfare. In the end, the lodge's legacy is inextricably linked with its representational era, a symbol of power misused and the lingering presence of tyrannical power even on a mountaintop. Behind the grandeur lay an intricate system of tunnels and passageways, designed to sustain and protect the fortress-like retreat hidden above the valley floor. The hidden tunnels and access ways. Beneath the Eagle's Nest lies a network of tunnels and secret passageways that reveal the remarkable foresight of its designers. These tunnels, carved into the mountain's core, served a practical purpose, providing secure, weather-protected access to the summit lodge. Visitors and guests would approach the mountain and park at the base, then enter a hidden tunnel that led directly to an elevator shaft, a feat of engineering designed to mask the grandeur and isolate the retreat. The tunnel is wide enough to accommodate vehicles, indicating that Hitler and his closest associates could arrive undercover, avoiding exposure to the outside world. Some accounts suggest Hitler was even driven into the tunnel itself, while others indicate he might have been dropped off and walked the remaining distance. This ambiguity only adds to the mystique and hints at strict protocols for transport and security. Inside the tunnel, traces of history remain etched in the walls and doors. Graffiti carved by American soldiers in 1945, who quickly claimed the site following Germany's surrender. These inscriptions serve as silent witnesses to the passage of time and the changing hands of power, linking the present to the past in a tangible way. Originally, heated air was forced through the tunnel during the Third Reich era, ensuring a comfortable climate even in the harsh mountain environment. Notably, a swastika was once embedded in the stonework near the elevator entrance, a symbol that has since been sand-blasted away. Yet, keen eyes can still discern faint remnants, a ghostly reminder of the site's original purpose. The elevator itself was a technological wonder, famously gilded and spacious, designed to smoothly transport guests from deep inside the mountain to the eagle's nest's lofty summit. Originally furnished with green benches, the elevator allowed occupants, including Hitler, a level of comfort and sophistication rare for the time. Today, while rules around filming vary, the elevator remains a centerpiece of curiosity and awe. The tunnel and elevator system weren't simply about convenience, they were crucial for security. Concealed beneath thick rock and away from prying eyes, they shielded those inside from potential attacks or surveillance. This subterranean infrastructure underscores the strategic thinking underlying the entire Eagle's Nest complex. Beyond the main access tunnel, smaller passageways and restricted rooms reveal a world often closed to public view. Spaces for bodyguards to rest, kitchens hidden from guests' sight, and vantage points for overseeing both the natural surroundings and the lodge's interior. Each corridor and chamber speaks of a controlled environment, carefully planned to balance comfort, security, and exclusivity. This hidden network challenges the notion that the Eagle's Nest was simply a mountain retreat. Instead, it underscores the deliberate combination of secrecy, engineering, and political theater at work. Layers of design that weave together, form and function into a fortress above the clouds. The theater of power, it seems, was supported by a complex underworld that kept everything running smoothly, silently shaping the experience of those who passed through. Soldiers' markings and wartime traces. The echoes of history linger vividly within the walls of the Eagle's Nest's tunnel, where American soldiers left their unmistakable marks after the war. Carved initials, dates, and cryptic signatures serve as a haunting reminder that this site changed hands amidst worldwide upheaval. These inscriptions offer a rare, personal glimpse into the lives of those who occupied the space after Nazi Germany's collapse, turning a symbol of oppression into a place of fleeting human expression. One of the more legible carvings carries the initials GFS, surrounded by a diamond, dated 1945, the year the war ended in Europe. Nearby, other scratches and initials blend into the stone, some nearly faded, but still telling of the soldier's presence. These markings were not official records, but spontaneous declarations of survival and conquest, physically etching the transition of power into the rock face itself. The soldier's graffiti contrasts sharply with the calculated precision of the Nazi architects, revealing a raw, unplanned human response to a world transformed. Their names remind visitors that behind the grand narratives and military campaigns were individuals bearing witness to historic change. These inscriptions form a silent testimony to the passage of time and the ephemeral nature of control. In addition to graffiti, traces of wartime activity are woven throughout the tunnel's fabric. The heated air once pumped through the passage has long since ceased, but the infrastructure designed for comfort and security hints at a carefully maintained stronghold built to withstand conflict and harsh conditions. This climate control was part of a larger system intended to protect the powerful from both environmental and human threats. The delicately concealed image of a swastika, erased through sandblasting work years ago but still very slightly discernible to a careful observer, is a very gloomy and thus enriching detail to the story of the tunnel. It signifies not only the ideals of the regime, but also the struggles of the subsequent generations to either completely remove that period or come to terms with it. The drawing, which was once so ostentatiously presented, now haunts like a specter and reminds us of the inhumanities that were still going on under the mountain during that time. The once narrow corridor of the tunnel that used to be a controlled movement and secrecy route now sounds heavy with silence and memory. Every single scar and chipped surface tells a bit of the story of the mountain's deep engraving of history. The transition from Nazi glory to the human casualties and complexities of war takes place amidst these relics. The visitors walking through this tunnel today perceive the interplay between the architectural intent and the personal marks as the source of a haunting atmosphere. The scars are the very connections to history, the very spots where the past events that once were so distant get linked with the present moment. The tunnel is thus both a physical passage and a channel for contemplation of power, loss, and resilience. Wartime remains still pushed back against full preservation, even after decades of tourism and study. The conditions of the weather, the passage of time, and the presence of people continually disintegrate these stories that were written by the soldiers, thereby ensuring that the remaining ones are even more precious. They are the softest sounds of the days of the utmost evil in the world, taking place in stone and shadow. The presence of soldiers under the eagle's nest is an unexpected event, and at the same time a clear sign that history always flows like a river around and through everything, and that even the mightiest of symbols are eventually transformed. Behind the walls and corridors that hold these human imprints lies another layer of craftsmanship and opulence that defines the eagle's nest's interior realm. Architectural marvels. Inside. Stepping inside the eagle's nest reveals a juxtaposition of natural isolation with remarkable architectural ambition. The building's interior spaces, far from rustic mountain shelters, speak volumes about the regime's desire to project power through luxury. The Great Room, now a popular restaurant, is dominated by a grand red marble fireplace that captures attention immediately with its size and craftsmanship. For years, this fireplace was believed to have been a gift from Benito Mussolini himself, a token for Hitler's 50th birthday. However, recent scrutiny has cast doubt on that story as similar marble slabs appear throughout the building, possibly sourced locally or repurposed. Regardless of origin, the fireplace remains a centerpiece, symbolizing the complex alliances and lavish tastes of those who designed the lodge. One intriguing feature of the interior is the graffiti left by U.S. soldiers on the fireplace surround and elsewhere, transforming symbols of Axis power into canvases for Allied presence. These marks humanize the imposing space, blending the grandiosity of dictatorship with the personal expressions of victory and survival. The dining room, once set up with a long table running its full length, catered to diplomatic meals and formal occasions. Today, it offers visitors a glimpse into the carefully staged hospitality designed to impress and control narratives. The adjacent kitchen remains typically off-limits, but rare access reveals the behind-the-scenes life of those who worked tirelessly in service to the regime. One of the most fascinating restricted areas is the bodyguard room, a quieter space where security personnel would retreat to relax yet remain close to their charge. This room highlights the tension between comfort and constant vigilance that characterized life within the eagle's nest, underscoring the ever-present threats perceived by its occupants. The Charlotte's Killer Room, also known as the Ava Braun Room, offers stunning views framed by polished wooden paneling, imparting a warm and rustic elegance. Snow-capped peaks visible through wide windows remind visitors of the lodge's remote beauty, providing a stark contrast to the grim history associated with the place. Just beyond lies the Sun Terrace, once an open space surrounded by glass panes, perfect for surveillance or relaxed conversation under the open sky. This terrace functioned as both an architectural statement and a practical vantage point, overlooking the jagged peaks and valleys below. Despite the harsh mountain environment, the eagle's nest's interiors were designed with luxury and symbolism in mind, combining formality and comfort to support the regime's image. The spaces within reveal a world where politics and aesthetics converged, fashioning a backdrop for power plays and historical moments. The architectural prowess evident inside the eagle's nest adds layers of meaning to the site, deepening its paradoxical legacy as both a mountain refuge and a stage for a dark era's grand ambitions. The story hidden in these exquisitely crafted interiors only begins to reveal the extraordinary discoveries taking shape beneath the surface. Unexpected scientific discoveries beneath. Beneath the grandeur of the eagle's nest lies a hidden world that has only recently begun to reveal its secrets through modern scientific investigation. For decades, the mountain's underground passages and caverns were assumed to be simple support structures and access routes, but new research suggests much more complex activity took place beneath the surface. Advanced ground-penetrating radar and geological surveys have uncovered cavities and chamber systems previously unknown, hinting at undisclosed uses that challenge earlier assumptions. These subterranean discoveries indicate purpose-built spaces engineered to withstand great pressure and conceal more than just an elevator shaft or tunnels. The precision and extent of these caverns defy the typical quarrying methods of the time, suggesting that alterations to the natural mountain were designed with strategic and possibly secretive intentions. These findings raise questions about whether the eagle's nest concealed technological facilities, secure storage, or communication hubs vital to the Nazi war effort. One striking revelation is the evidence of sophisticated ventilation systems embedded deep within the rock. Unlike typical ventilation shafts, these channels were meticulously engineered to control airflow and maintain temperature, demonstrating a deeper knowledge of subterranean climate management. Such infrastructure would have supported extended occupancy underground, allowing personnel to remain hidden and operational regardless of external conditions. Unexplained anomalies in bedrock composition were also discovered by scientists, and their findings suggested human intervention that somehow altered the mountain's structural integrity. The changes made were possibly meant to strengthen, but the studies proposed that they were done for the purpose of preventing detection or impact, maybe for the reason of saving the underground critical assets or equipment. The exact nature and purpose of these adaptations remain the subject of ongoing investigation. Archaeologists working with geologists have dug up the remains of materials that are usually not found in mountain retreats: electrical wiring remnants, strange metallic alloys, and even lubricants that indicate the existence of machines in the lower chambers. All these odd products imply that the eagle's nest was the site for technological activities that were beyond what history has recognized, possibly even secret workshops or experimental installations. The existence of such concealed elements makes it impossible to think of the eagle's nest as a mere picturesque viewpoint or the main spot for socializing. At the same time, It shows a scenario of a rich, multi-layered establishment that mixed relaxation, military tactics, and sneaky science. The whole thing was like the Nazis' merging of the image and innovation, secrecy and spectacle, which was indeed their obsession. These scientific discoveries are a must for historians to consider the Eagle's Nest's full involvement in the Third Reich. Therefore, they will have to go beyond the traditional narratives of pomp and uncover a place where power literally dug in beneath the surface. The mountain's hidden chambers are the whispers of a shadow history that only now modern technology is beginning to expose. As these subterranean revelations surface, they beckon a closer look at the mountain's surroundings, where defenses and battles left their marks, piecing together the Eagle's Nest story from all angles: military defenses and bombing history. The strategic importance of the Eagle's Nest extended far beyond its summit lodge. Surrounding the mountain, a network of defensive positions was carefully established to protect this symbol of Nazi power. Machine gun nests and anti-aircraft emplacements crowned ridges and key vantage points, creating a shield designed to deter and defend against Allied air raids and ground assaults. These fortifications were part of a wider military infrastructure intended to safeguard not just the Eagle's Nest, but critical assets in the nearby Obersalzberg area. The Allies recognized the significance of this mountain stronghold, mounting missions to disrupt Nazi operations in the region. However, the Eagle's Nest itself miraculously escaped direct damage during an April 25, 1945 bombing raid that heavily targeted the valleys below. Over the mountains, Royal Air Force bombers flew dangerous sorties aiming to cripple German defenses and logistical hubs, focusing firepower on troop concentrations, supply lines, and industrial sites in the valley. The Eagle's Nest's location atop the rugged Kelstein Ridge, combined with its sturdy construction and anti-aircraft cover, helped it avoid the fate that befell many surrounding targets. This survival only added to its mystique as an impregnable fortress. Despite the war drawing to a close, these defensive positions remained manned with vigilance. German soldiers utilized the terrain to their advantage, using elevated firing points and camouflage to conceal movements from enemy reconnaissance. Yet, the approaching end was inevitable, as Allied ground forces steadily pushed through the region. When American troops finally reached the Eagle's Nest, they found it largely intact, but stripped of many valuables. The immediate priority was securing the site and uncovering intelligence hidden within its walls. The mountain's defenses had delayed capture, but could not prevent the symbol of Nazi dominance from falling. Today, remnants of these defensive structures still dot the landscape. Rusting machine gun nests and anti-aircraft mounts stand as weathered monuments to a desperate last stand. Visitors climbing the ridges retrace the steps of soldiers who fought to hold or seize this imposing height, connecting past battles to present peace. The interplay between military engineering and natural geography around the Eagle's Nest underscores how deeply the mountain was woven into wartime strategy. Its commanding views were both a blessing and a peril, bestowing control yet inviting attack. This relentless tension between defense and vulnerability adds another dimension to the Eagle's Nest's story, framing it as more than a luxury retreat, but a hardened bastion caught in the tides of history. In retrospect, these scars in stone and steel speak as loudly as any archive or photograph. They reveal how fear, anticipation, and determination shaped every contour of the mountain's defenses. What once served as tools of resistance now function as silent witnesses, stripped of their original purpose, yet heavy with meaning. The Eagle's Nest thus becomes a layered battlefield of memory, where military ambition meets historical reckoning. Standing among these remnants, one senses how strategy and desperation converged in the final months of war. leaving behind a landscape forever marked by the tension between human design and the inexorable march of events. From military scars etched into hillside stone to secret chambers dug into its heart, the Eagle's Nest's legacy continues to unfold, inviting us to reflect on power's many faces, legacy, and modern reflections. Today, the Eagle's Nest stands as a powerful symbol layered with contradictions, both a breathtaking architectural achievement and a haunting reminder of a dark past. Visitors come not only to marvel at the stunning views and craftsmanship, but also to confront history's uncomfortable truths embodied by this remote mountaintop. Its legacy is a complex mix of awe, reflection, and warning, challenging us to remember the dangers of unchecked power. Modern tourism has transformed the Eagle's Nest from a secretive Nazi refuge into a widely visited historical site. People from around the world make the journey up Kelstein Mountain, drawn by curiosity and the desire to witness where history unfolded. The Great Room now serves as a restaurant, and many wander the same halls where conversations of war and intrigue once echoed, creating a bridge between past and present. Yet, preserving this site remains a challenge. Weather, time, and human presence inevitably wear down the structures and obscure some of the original details. Efforts have been made to maintain the lodge and tunnel systems, but balancing tourism with conservation demands constant care. The layers of graffiti, both from soldiers and visitors, offer a living record of ongoing human interaction, although some see them as defacing priceless history. The scientific discoveries beneath the Eagle's Nest have rekindled interest in the site's secrets, emphasizing that much remains hidden beneath the surface. Technology reveals new spaces and artifacts, hinting at untold stories and the full scale of Nazi innovation and secrecy. These revelations invite historians and visitors alike to reconsider not only the mountain's role, but the extent of wartime complexity still buried underground. This progressing comprehension disputes oversimplified stories and, moreover, invites a more subtle discourse with past events. The Eagle's Nest stands for how the locations can be a mixture of different meanings, like beauty and horror, innovation and oppression, refuge and command. It is a place that compels us to examine memory and accountability, particularly in the way we do memorialization of the tough periods of our common past. The location can also be seen as a strong symbol of how the dream of ideologies can be reflected in the physical spaces. When the Eagle's Nest was built, it was intended to impress and dominate, and the very design of it can be regarded as a reflection of the regime's perspective. But the latter taking over of the place and its change into a public landmark have shown the strength of the people who are determined to face and learn from the past, no matter how harsh it is. The international attention given to the Eagle's Nest has translated into documentaries, books, and research, which have made it a popular cultural and scholarly discourse reality. Its picture is often associated with World War II imagery, depicting both the glory and downfall of the Nazis. By means of these narrations, the mountain still attracts the attention of new generations, signifying the ever-present importance of history. When we are at the Sun Terrace or walking up the meandering paths, we realize that history is not only found in textbooks, but also in the places that are visible and tangible. The Eagle's Nest shows us the significance of the way we conserve and interpret such locations in determining public memory and in the prevention of the recurrence of past errors. In the end, the Eagle's Nest stands as a vibrant symbol of human aspiration, technological ability, and the dangers of oppression from rulers. It is an everlasting monument that still has much to teach beyond the mountain ridge. Ultimately, standing before the Eagle's Nest invites a quiet reckoning rather than celebration. The silence of the peaks contrasts sharply with the noise of the ideology once rooted there, reminding visitors how easily ambition can eclipse humanity. Each stone, corridor, and overlook becomes a lesson etched into the landscape, urging responsibility in how power is imagined and exercised. As generations continue to climb the mountain, the site evolves from a relic into a dialogue between past and present, memory and morality. In this way, the eagle's nest does not simply endure as history preserved in stone. It endures as a cautionary presence, urging vigilance, humility, and conscious remembrance. The eagle's nest is more than a mountain retreat. It's a doorway into history's layered complexities and hidden secrets. From underground discoveries to wartime scars, it forces us to confront power in all its forms. If you found this journey fascinating, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most startling histories.